Let's take a look at the next setting, which is the Safe Exam browser. And I'm just going to go back to our course outline. And I do happen to have a course set up right now with an activity. So and our activity is the exam here. But what I wanted to do is I'm just going to go into this particular exam and let's take a look at some of the settings. Something to keep in mind is that with this Safe Exam browser, the exam browser is something that the student and user has to download onto their computer. And there is essentially a website that allows for the download to take place. It is an open source Safe Exam browser. So if anybody's curious, I'm just going to throw that up here. So we have safeexambrowser.org/download. So this is something that would have to be downloaded. You can see here that there's some information on it. So this is a good resource. It works on Windows, Mac, and iOS devices, which is really handy. So this is something that you can pull into students using to reduce, the ability for them to perhaps go and look at other sites. So you can block other sites, you can block certain functions, so being the things like copy and paste. So this helps kind of close down things that people can do during an exam. So this is very desirable for exams that have higher stakes to them. So it kind of gives us some details here on all the different kinds of things that it can do and some of the stuff. If you wanted to find out more, of course, there's documentation for the various areas here. I thought this is something that is important to kind of point out, that this works with another component, another piece. But let's go back to our Moodle course and let's take a look at the settings here for our quiz. So if I wanted to utilize that, I would just go into my quiz here. And there's all these great settings on how our quiz is going to operate and how it's going to function. But primarily, let's take a look at our Safe Exam browser. So we're saying that, first off, should it be used or not? So that's a yes. And there's options on how we want it to configure. And we can do that manually. We can also say we're going to upload my own configuration. Or essentially, we can use a pre-configured option. If there's a pre-configured option set up, your site administrator might go through and pre-configure some of the settings. But let's take a look. If I go to manually configure, just to give you some sense of what can be done here, show the button for students to essentially download the browser. There is essentially the exam browser and how you want it to be configured with the exit. There is some options here on quitting. There's some reloading options. Further down, there is showing the time to the learners, show Wi-Fi control, enabling auto controls, spell check. Sometimes you want spell check on, sometimes you don't. I always do. I'm horrible with spelling, so please keep that on. But there's also URL filtering here too. So if you wanted to filter URLs, it is possible to go in, and when you set yes there's a whole bunch of other features that open up that allow you to say that, hey, you're going to either block or allow certain sites or certain things to be done. So this does allow you to control a lot more of what a student is able to do during an exam once that's launched. So it's great to see all of this is integrated. It gives you an open source option, and it's very nice to have that available.